how does sexual immorality affect this individual?
Okay.
First, a quick one. Being a Christian, what is that thing that has become incumbent upon us? And then, how would sexual immorality affect our conquest to continue to serve in the vineyard?
Okay. So, from the book of Genesis, you realize, first of all, Adam and Eve were in a good relationship with God. And that relationship gave them the right, so to say, to everything that God has created. They can access it. They can enjoy the peace of God, the comfort. They can enjoy fellowship with God. But when they disobeyed the instruction of God, it broke that relationship. And because they lost contact of fellowship with God, they were now subjected to hardship and all kinds of unpleasant life. It means that the peace, the joy, the wealth, whatever it is that they were enjoying was because they were in fellowship with God.
Okay.
And so once they lose fellowship, or once they disconnect from their source, they equally disconnect from every blessing that comes with it. The same thing applies to believers today. If Ephesians chapter 2, verse 1 will tell us that at one point we were dead in our trespasses. In other words, because of sin, because of the sin of Adam, we lost fellowship with God. And so all kinds of things can happen to you. It could be sickness, it could be accident, it could be failure. Many things will come to you just because you are not under the umbrella of God. Now, you go to Colossians 1:13, which tells you that we have been translated from the kingdom of darkness into the kingdom of his dear son. And in the kingdom of his dear son, victory is there.
Victory is there, okay.
Divine health is there. Good marriage is there. All these things are blessings in the kingdom of his dear son.
Okay.
But how can a Christian be in this kingdom and not experience these blessings? That is because you are not living your life according to the principles that governs the kingdom.
Okay.
So sexual immorality is not part of the kingdom of his dear son. If you come there and you practice it, you will not experience the blessings of that kingdom, but the penalty that goes with disobedience. So
the penalty that goes with disobedience.
Exactly. So you can be a Christian, number one, you are not going to have a good relationship with your father.
Okay.
Because in this new kingdom, you have a king. That's the king's domain. That's kingdom, the king's domain. So there's a place where this person rules, this God rules, and there's a way he wants you to live.
The fact that you are not having good relationship with your father, does that make you a Christian in a way?
In the first, you see, the fact that you don't have a good relationship with your father does not necessarily mean you are no longer the son of your father.
Okay.
But, you know, even in our natural lives, if you don't have a good relationship with your father, there are some things that just don't flow to you. You realize that even if your father wants to have fellowship with you, you yourself want to go into hiding because of the wrong that you have done. So his arms are open, but you are very far away. And so there are some things you can't enjoy, like the prodigal son. It took him going back to the father, for him to begin to eat the food that people in the father's house eat. As far as he was away, he was, for some time, he even enjoyed the father's properties.
Because he took something
away. So once he even was away, but was still having possessions of the father, he was enjoying for some time. But because he was disconnected from the source, eventually it got finished. And now he began to feed on pigs' food. He began to compete with animals for survival. But when he decided to go back to the father's house, then he was now set on the path of a good life again. So the same way it is for a believer. You can be a Christian, but your life and your experiences are just contrary to what one who belongs to God should be experiencing, simply because you are not living according to the will of God.